All right. My name is Dan. I haven't done a video for a while on this channel, but I thought in light of what's been happening in the last 24 hours, I would at least throw this out there. I am not an authority on anything really, but certainly not on biblical interpretation, not on the politics of what's happening in Israel right now. But it's hard to look away from what you see there, and you go on to Twitter, or is it X now? Something I don't usually do, but some awful things, and it's hard to parse out. It's hard to parse out all the noise of what's happening, but you just hope that it won't be too extended. And some of the news, it has been awful. I was just reading this one here on PBS. And it's hard to know where to go for this stuff. But I decided to read this here, where Netanyahu declares war on Hamas after surprise attacks kills hundreds of Israelis. And you could see a bunch of awful videos. And I won't go through all of this, but it was interesting to see how some of the wording in this. Let me see if I can find exactly where that was. But it explains that they blew open this wall and went in on motorbikes with guns. We are at war, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. I just messed things up. Said in a televised address, declaring a mass army mobilization. Not an operation, not a round, but at war. And we've been kind of waiting to see when things would really tip over the edge. It sure looks like that's happening. But, again, I go to someone else to know all the specific details, but I'm just an observer like you. The enemy will pay an unprecedented price, he added, promising that Israel would return fire of a magnitude that the enemy has not known. The shadowy leader of Hamas military wing, Mohammed Deif, said the assault was in response to the 16-year blockade of Gaza, Israeli raids inside West Bank cities over the past year, violence at I never know how to pronounce that. The disputed Jerusalem holy site, sacred to Jews as the Temple Mount, increasing attacks by settlers on Palestinians and growth of settlements. Enough is enough, he says. Now look at this wording here. They're calling it Operation Alaska Storm. Today the people are regaining their revolution. And interesting that this is the 50-year anniversary, almost to the very moment of the Yom Kippur surprise attack. 50 years ago, obviously. And there was a moment here where they talked about this being like they're using flood language and fire under the feet language. Anyway, it's just really awful what's happening, clearly. Now, some people have pointed to Daniel, and when we're looking for last days events, people look at Daniel. And within the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints especially, maybe we have a different paradigm for how some of those things will take place, but I just wanted to read through this because it is interesting, and we've seen, especially as we look down at some of the time, that it's interesting to see. We'll get there. Chapter 12. In the last days, Michael will deliver Israel from their troubles. Daniel tells of the 2 resurrections. The wise will know the times and the meanings of his visions. So we often hear that the second coming will come and take people unawares, but the wise who are watching and understanding, and we will see that here, will begin to see the times and the seasons for that. Here we go. And it's not long. And at that time shall Michael, and I didn't find this on my own. Someone sent this to me, so just so you know that. At that time shall Michael stand up, the great prince which standeth for the children of thy people, and there shall be a time of trouble, such as never was since there was a nation, even to that same time. And at the time thy people shall be delivered, every one that shall be found written in the book. And we could go into detail of what the book is, but I wanted to just point out about this nation concept, where a lot of people have different opinions about the extent of where all of this awful stuff takes place. Is it some localized event? Like people reading Revelation might think, well, this is kind of explaining the sort of thing when Rome took over Jerusalem. And in the last days, is this going to be a localized event specifically about the nation of Israel? Or is this going to be widespread throughout the world? What's it going to be? And many of them that sleep in the dust, meaning they died, shall, let me see what it actually said. Oh, it has a whole bunch here. Many of them that sleep in the dust of the earth shall awake, some to everlasting life, and some to shame and everlasting contempt, or judgment. And they that be wise shall shine as the brightness of the firmament, meaning like a different type of body from a LDS perspective. And they that turn many to righteousness as the stars forever and ever. But thou, O Daniel, shut up the words and seal the book, even to the time of the end. Many shall run to and fro, and knowledge shall be increased. What do we have here for D&C 121? How long can rolling waters remain impure? Don't think I've ever really pondered that. What power shall stay the heavens? As well might man stretch forth his puny arm to stop the Missouri River in its decreed course, or to turn it upstream as to hinder the Almighty from pouring down knowledge from heaven upon the heads of the Latter-day Saints. So as all as this is happening to and fro, if this is specifically relating to knowledge increasing, would be interesting that this is knowledge towards the Latter-day Saints through their prophets and what they are seeing. And if this thing that I'll bring up later with the numbers actually would be a thing, then that would be specific for Latter-day Saints, even though we know that this is going to be a thing for the faithful and good of any denomination. But I'm not going to go into all that. When I, Daniel, looked, and behold, there stood other two, the one on this side of the bank of the river. Sorry, I don't talk very well when I'm reading. And the other on that side of the bank of the river. Both sides. And then one said to the man clothed in linen, which was upon the waters of the river. So one on both sides, and then one upon it. Just waiting for the heavens to intervene, I suppose. How long shall it be to the end of these wonders? And I heard the man clothed in linen, which was upon the water of the river, which he held up his right hand and his left hand unto heaven, and swear by him that liveth forever, that it shall be for a time, times and a half. And people have interpreted this to be time is 1 year times 2 years and a half, so 3.5 years. And when he shall have accomplished to scatter the power of the holy people, all these things shall be finished. And I heard, but I understood not. Then said I, O my Lord, what shall be the end of these things? Again, this is the last chapter of Daniel. And he said, Go thy way, Daniel, for the words are closed up and sealed till the time of the end. And here we go. This is the big stuff here, in my opinion, or the stuff that's at least relevant here. And also, this is interesting, this footnote to 8. Worth reading. Moses, the city of Enoch, also relevant, but we're not going to go into that. 10. Many shall be purified and made white and tried, but the wicked shall do wickedly. And none of the wicked shall understand, but the wise shall understand. I think that's something to think about when we're thinking about the times and seasons. And from the time that the daily sacrifice shall be taken away, and the abomination that maketh desolate set up, there shall be 1,290 days, which is, people haven't really known what to make of that. And there's another number here. I'll just read it. Blessed is he that waiteth and cometh to the 1,305 and 30 days. And go thou thy way till the end be, for thou shalt rest and stand in thy lot at the end of the days. Now, this big event that happened on October 6th, 1,290 days. We think, well, what happened maybe 1,290 days before that? And that was March 25th, 2020. That was the day that President Nelson closed down the temples during COVID. And even at that time when that happened, people were looking at this scripture and wondering, okay, what could happen 1,290 days from that moment? And they already almost had a mental circle around October 6th, which could be something totally different. I want to make that clear, and I don't want to be an alarmist here, but that is very interesting, especially as we are speaking about wisdom and we are speaking about knowledge increasing to the Latter-day Saints. And then we see this, and this is like it could be alarm bells that, yes, this is what we are looking at. And then we have blessed is he that waiteth, cometh in 1,305 and 30 days. So that's 44 days further. Well, it's either 44 days further from this, which would be November 20th coming up, something to think about, or it's another maybe 3 years, 3.5 years, or whatever, 1,305 and 30 days from this point. I don't know. But that's certainly interesting to see how that has come about. The time the daily sacrifice shall be taken away, and the abomination that maketh desolate set up. Just getting ready. Anyway, it is interesting, isn't it? And I don't know what to think of that, but I do hope and pray for the people in the area who are affected by what's going on. And I do think that we do need to keep our eyes open wherever we are and be prayerful and be kind and think of those that are in need of our help. And there may be ways that we can help those. I can't go to Israel and help there, but I think Zion is generally where we are, and we can still try to strive to be a Zion people, even as crazy stuff like this is happening. But anyway, I thought I would put this out there, and I wonder what your thoughts would be. As far as bringing this up, I'm not married to this being like an official thing, but it is something to think about. It is something to think about. So anyway, I will talk to you on the next one, whenever that's going to be. It has been a while, but maybe as we're looking into more of what's happening in Israel, and of course there are a lot of prophecies about what will happen with Israel before the coming, before the second coming. So it is interesting to see that this has really sparked off now, and it's not something that anyone wanted, but it is something also that people have kind of been expecting could or would happen eventually. And whether this is that or another series of events that, Jerusalem is the most sieged city in the world by far. We'll have to see. But even, I'll just leave that there, and we'll maybe pick this up in a future video.